Good morning again from Galloway and the MG Midget. At the end of my last post I had hopefully leveled up this frame. It was looking good, and by lowering at this end, supporting it a little bit. I had the front half nice and level, and similar work on the back, leveled that off, and dry fitted the rear bulkhead and bolted it in place to hold it in place. And yeah, I fitted the floor and it all looked pretty good, and you can see from the laser lines as well, it's kind of, I don't know if you can see, but they're cutting through right on that corner angle there, and same on this side. So the frame's pretty level, and what I decided to do was to put in cross braces. So again, sort of re-welded those in place to hold it in that position, and then think about welding in this rear bulkhead. But what you might notice is that I've tidied up the tunnel. So I've restored the flanges, so we have a nice shape to the transmission tunnel. I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, it's rough and ready. I'm not going to sand these down, probably won't at any stage, but it kind of looks right. That was a lot more difficult than you might think, because I took 2 or 3 shots, because I've repaired the flanges thinking, I just need to cut the old ones off and put new ones on. But of course there's been a lot of shrinkage in that tunnel with various floors being welded in, so it wasn't really level. And one of the problems I have, I've got this whole floor. I don't know if you can appreciate, well, you maybe can, because it's got dents in it now, but it's not, the floor is great in a lot of respects, but this center section is buckled and bowed, and it's just been, I think, kind of badly welded in, so it's not flat, which made it really difficult to try and, when I fitted the floor, to see whether it lay flat on these flanges. So I've done the best I can. I've got spirit levels across it. It seems to pretty much touch when I put it that way, and similarly that way. It looks pretty reasonable, flat in this direction as well. So I have to have a bit of confidence that the tunnel is now restored and good to go. So yeah, I'm kind of happy with that. That was a lot of work, a lot more work than I thought it would be. And now I've prepped. You can see I've put weld-through primer on various places. I've taken the black paint off this rear bulkhead where all the joins are, and I've prepped it. I've drilled holes in so that I can fit it. And I think I'm going to go ahead and weld this in place. Take the courage of my convictions and just go for it. And then I know that the back end is welded in properly. Now, having done that, I've still got this sill dry fitted and clamped in place, and it's a right angle here, which is what it should be. It looks to be in the right place here and here. So yeah, so I obviously I don't have, because if you remember from previous videos, that this cross member is buckled and it's going to have to be replaced anyway. And So it's out here. So it's not like I can pop it on there either and be secure in the knowledge that it's in the right place there. But I kind of think, given the floor fits and given that these are right angles here, I think I'm going to maybe go for it and weld this sill in place once I've got the rear bulkhead. It kind of seems logical that if I've got the right angle here, if this is right at the front and I weld to that, and this is all new at the back and I weld to that, we should be good. There'll still be a bit of flex in this thing so that when I fit the other side here, then I can do some cross measurements and diagonals and check that it's all square before I put the floor on. So that's what I'm thinking I'll do. Once I've done that, it may be then that I can start moving this thing about. I can put in the A-post, try fitting the door, fit the outer sill, and finish off this side. That's my hope anyway. So that's kind of where we are now. At the end of this video, I'm going to pause it here and I'll add in the finished article once I've welded this bulkhead in place. Okay, so that's the bulkhead welded in place. I've plug welded through here, and I've plug welded down in this area. I've left this side because it really needs to be pushed tight from the other side. So I made the hole so that I can plug weld that from the other side when I turn this thing over at some point. So yeah, so we're plug welded where we need to be there. And I've welded around the tunnel at this end of it in place, but I've left this so far. I'd like to do that as neatly as possible when I can rotate this thing on the rotisserie and get it in the ideal position to do it. I could do it because my plug welding's not quite as awful as it used to be, but I've got penetration, I've got the thing stuck together, so I'm kind of reasonably happy with it. And this all seems pretty solid. I don't think it's going anywhere. So yeah, so having done that, I dry fitted the floor again, scratched my head a few times, and then decided to go for it with the inner sill. So drilled all the holes for the floor when I need to fit that. I drilled. Sorry, one of the other things I did was I fitted this toe board. So that's welded in place, and I've now done plug welds down that diagonal, plug welds along here to the side of the footwell. I've plug welded it to this front part of the rear bulkhead, and on the back I've put a couple of plug welds in, but I've kind of left it with a bit of flex here before till I see where we are with the floor. And similarly on this side, I've plug welded at the bottom, but I've left a bit of movement at the top. Obviously I've got to take this out, and I'm increasingly thinking I might bite the bullet and just replace the whole thing, since I have got the whole section. I was thinking of cutting it and, you know, putting sections in, but I'm really struggling. When I put the floor on, these aren't bad, they're almost where they should be in terms of the holes, especially when I have at the front, but it's a slightly tight fit to the floor, and it just moves very slightly, and these are fractionally out of line from where I'd like them to be. And I don't know if that's, you know, if that's because I need to flex this a bit, if it's because the whole thing still needs to open up a little bit more, or if it's just because this thing's rotten, you know, it's been warped and twisted. So obviously this is going to go, this, I've got a replacement for this one because somebody has, as I mentioned previously, has welded in a replacement section inside the original, and they've lost the 3-degree tilt that there should be, caster angle that there should be on this thing. So that has to be done. So that has to be done before I can put the floor on anyway. But we have, you know, it's not until I put the outer sill on, I guess it's not going to be really rigid, but there is more rigidity there. And with these cross members in place, I'm kind of thinking I might be able to remove the jacks and start rotating this thing so that I can do some work next on getting the A-post, the A-pillar back in, and checking the door gaps and give myself a bit more information about whether this thing is truly square, or do I need to do a little bit more on it. I've actually fitted this door, which was a new one, and I can't close it because obviously there's a brace behind it, but it kind of feels to me, eyeballing it, that it's about right. Maybe not perfect, we'll see, but you know, I'm kind of thereabouts. I'm not far away, and hopefully I can get this thing back in shape fairly soon. So I'm gonna linish back these plug welds and call it a day for the time being, and do a bit of head scratching before I decide whether or not to remove these jacks, spin it round and have a look at it. So that's all I'm going to do for now. I'm looking forward to getting this thing off these jacks so I can move it and clean this floor up, because the place is a bit of a tip. So that might be my afternoon's work going forward. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.